Now I miss my bun. Hi, welcome to my multidimensional living room. I have already started painting and then something came into my eye and I had to stop and start all over again. So welcome to my multidimensional living room. I'll be painting energies. Energies that speak to me, I'll be painting here. If something speaks to you and helps you orient yourself, navigate your life, understand yourself, love yourself a little bit more, then that's great. And if it doesn't, then it's from somebody else. Use your discernment, listen to your intuition, and sometimes I deliver these energies in a little bit more abstract way, so it might not make sense. It's up to you to make that decision for yourself. Okay. So basically I started and I have encountered now I have to repeat myself a little bit, but it's not bad. I have encountered the energy of needing to prepare yourself. Needing to prepare yourself when you're about to meet somebody, when you're about to make a YouTube video, when you're about to do something with somebody, for somebody. This need to know up front what are you going to say, how are you going to say, which jokes do you have in your sleeve, possible topics that you could use in terms, in case of, if something happens that you, I don't know, run out of things to say, then the backup list of things that you can say when you don't know what to say. That type of an energy of needing to prepare yourself. Maybe it shows itself in a way that you need to rehearse what you want to say before you say it. And then the problem of that energy is that as you rehearse it and you feel it, you know, you're about to meet somebody and you feel them even before you see them, and you know exactly what you want to say and which topics you want to bring out, and then you actually meet them and they are in a completely different energy. So what you prepared, the energy that you kind of cultivated within yourself, is kind of not really compatible with energies that they are carrying or that they are presenting to you. And so what happens consequently is that you're a little bit out of track. This is pretty much the reason why I like being awake during the night. Anyway, so this feeling out of track is like you can't really quite be on the same page with them. And how this energy presents itself here and now is that it shows me that this comes from the fear of being fully present with what is given to you, and what you can give. It's like fear of being fully present with yourself first and foremost, and then fear of being fully present with what is there for you. On one side there might be fear of, what if I don't know what to say? What if I don't know what to do? What if they, oh my god, it's like, it's pointing on so many what if they see me that I, whatever, fill in the blank. But on the other side, there is this kind of like an imposed energy onto everybody, I have a feeling, that you have to, like, as soon as you want something, that you need to get it. And, you know, it can be something as simple as you want to watch a film, great, you just go to the internet and you watch it. There is no, like, waiting time in between when you realize that you want something and when you can actually get it. Or at least this time is kind of reduced with the internet a lot. But even if you don't operate within this paradigm that as soon as you want something that you get it immediately, then that paradigm is imposed onto you. So even if you're not living it, there is an idea that it is available, and if you're not having it, then you should. And then there is this like very loud should that is placed upon you. Where was I going with this? Let me drink some water. Yeah. It makes it uncomfortable then to be with what is, What is in this now moment when you are not having what you want? Sometimes that is uncomfortable, and then to bridge this uncomfort of being with what is, you try to automatically prepare yourself with what to do, what to say when what is uncomfortable, because sometimes you might perceive nothingness. And you're afraid of nothingness because maybe nothingness doesn't have a value. Maybe you don't know what to say when you're confronted with nothingness. And so you want to make up somethingness. But then that somethingness, I didn't even know that was a word. It's probably not, but it feels right in this moment. That somethingness kind of detaches you from being right here, right now. Right? So that's the energy that's showing itself here, and it looks like a dandelion. Is that the word of this, like, transparent white flower that you can, and then it flies all over the space. Yeah. I always forget that this doesn't, it's blocked. This is interesting. I wish I have ASMR microphone to record that. So the paintbrush, like the paint from it, just fell apart. White on transparent. I'm also getting that continuously to the energy that I covered in the previous painting called Calibration to Light, which isn't new energy, I gotta say. I've been seeing it, sensing it, feeling it for quite some time, and there are people that are very loud and vocal about it for ages already. Nothing new on the planet. It's just that it's kind of like a computer that you bought 3 years ago, and 3 years later you still realize how new it is and how some parts of it are very new to you. The same with that energy. There is like the energy of lightness that allows you to see all the bullshit. And some bullshit has been there for quite some time, and it's been tolerable, and it's been, you know, reasonable for that bullshit to be there. It's like, yeah, you recognize it, like, yeah, that's bullshit, but at the same time you're like, yeah, but that bullshit is here because of that and that, so it makes sense that it's here. Well, that is kind of now becoming even more transparent, so that you can't really tolerate it anymore. You can't excuse it anymore. You can't use the same old excuses of like, yeah, that's always been here, so it's just what it is. Like, no, this is not the point. Like, when you get to this frequency that I'm talking about, it's like you can't really, yeah, keep doing that. You can't keep excusing things that are kind of like trying to poke fingers into your eyes, you know what I mean? I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, but you know what I mean. I'm also getting something which I have, how do I say that now? I'm standing here in a place where I see only love, kind of a thing. where you might find yourself doing something messy. I wouldn't even call it messy. I would say maybe you find yourself being new with something. Maybe you have a new job, maybe you have a new relationship, maybe you have a new something that you're not fully skilled and mastered at yet. You're learning, you're going through that process of becoming better at it. Maybe you did something that appears to be messy, appears to be silly. Maybe you said something that you didn't mean to. Something came out in a not so skilled way, it kind of looks sloppy. And now you're kind of dealing with the aftermath of it. From the standpoint of only love, you can... Because what I'm seeing is, it kind of goes in a V shape. And that is that from the space of love, you can allow yourself to be messy, make mistakes, learn from them. Be imperfect. Reminds me of another video that I did for another channel. Be incomplete, be foolish, be confused. Be vocal about where you are right now. If you don't have your ducks in a row, then say it. I don't have my ducks in a row. Show up as you are, kind of a thing. Because you allow yourself to exist as you are. Because you really love yourself into growth rather than shaming yourself into growth. And then another part of this V shape is that you love yourself by giving yourself space and grace to grow and expand, but perhaps not by letting everybody know about your messiness. You can allow yourself privacy and again space and grace to do mistakes, learn from them, but not necessarily needing to inform everybody about your mistakes. Either way, how did I just pronounce that? Either way, it's kind of, it's a loving thing to do for yourself, to allow yourself to grow and to expand and to show up the way you are, however you choose it to be. But the frequency that where I'm standing here and that I'm picking up and connecting with is more in the, it's like something happened. You did something not because you did it wrong. It was just like it's a part of life, you know. Sometimes you do things in not the most graceful ways. And how do you relate to yourself in that process? That's what it's about. The connection, the quality of connection that you build with yourself based on what you just experienced. I feel like I ended the sentence with something that is kind of, it sounds like a beginning of the sentence. Okay. Windmill. There's something with windmills. I've had horses showing up today in the astral realm and in the cards that I did with my morning coffee. I'm just gonna say, because I need to clear my mind from it, but what is the commonality between windmill and a horse is a wind? A freedom. And now as I look out, I see the clear blue sky, and the sun is over there, pointing over there. The moon was over there too, and it was also brutally raining this morning when I woke up. How is this related? Sometimes I must not ask how is it related, because sometimes it doesn't need to be related. I think what I really must do is to find a better solution for me spending time here, because my sitting position is not always the most comfortable, to be honest. The idea of recycling comes to my mind, and getting into the middle of something. Oh, wow, I love that. I think this is for people who do not communicate clearly and directly always, that there is some sort of like an expansion of some sort. It's like it might be even orgasmic on some level. I think it's more like a soul orgasm, more like a heart expansion. If you allow yourself to communicate clearly, like very bluntly, find somebody in your surroundings who is an archetype of that type of communication. Like somebody who will not wait for the perfect moment, somebody who will not try to, ease their way into your awareness. They will just come and say exactly what they want to say. Even if it's not nice to hear, but they're gonna say it because they have to, because that's their truth, because that's how they speak and live and express themselves. I get something like that. I get something like that. And that might stir some things. It kind of like it's just gonna move the energy. And it might look like the energy then becomes muddy with some people. But it will settle down at some point as well. One of the most beautiful things about these paintings here on this table sometimes is exactly this water here that I'm having. And every time when I put a paintbrush inside, after each painting, the color of the water is different. And sometimes that to observe that water is kind of like to observe a crystal ball. It's like you can see so much inside, especially when the paint really settles down. I'm getting some sort of like allowing things to expand. I'm tapping into the tendency of needing to rush things, which, okay, like this is some sort of like a fusion of fantasy and expectations and a sense of urgency, and on the other side, yeah, I see that the distance, this doesn't exist in a physicality right now, but there is like a space in between the canvas and what is painted on it. And in that space, there is kind of like a space and time and ability and space for things to develop as they're supposed to, as they should, in their own time, in their own flow, without any urgency about it. But also the urgency itself, and all this mix of fantasy and expectations and urgency, that in and of itself is also something that is supposed to happen, because it needs to play itself out, and it needs to run its course. And only after you leave that certain energy, you can see it from another perspective. You can't really see it clearly as long as you're in them. Some sort of correspondence. That I'm getting like some sort of like a flirtatious energy. Now, one color is like a red is coming close to the blue. What's gonna happen? Red has entered the field of blue, and now they're kind of... Blue is entered... Okay, so red entered the field of the blue, and blue entered into the red. I don't know if I should be explaining this, because it's just... To me it's needless to explain, but maybe because I have a direct view onto it. I should have a camera in the air somewhere here to actually show what's going on the table. In time. In time. Song God of the Universe by the hypnotist. The hypnotist or hypnotist, I'm not sure. If you know, you'll know. Blue came all the way to the other side of and kind of went through the red. Okay, yeah, that's kind of like what I'm seeing with these energies here, and that is that you can see through them. All this like fantasies and expectations and sense of urgency is something that can be seen through. It's a very uncomfortable aspect of humanity. It's like when you, especially in a connection with somebody else, like you're exhibiting all types of patterns, and you think that they don't see you. You think that it's not noticeable. But it is. Red is also coming around to the blue and merging in like a very nice calm waters. Like there is no too much of a pigment from red or from blue. It's just like a nice, polite, timid, docile friendship of some sort. Yeah, and then there is this part where blue goes through the red, and then red pours back into the blue, and now it's some sort of like a purple, and it's hard to say where one starts and when the other one ends. Classic. It's like watching football here with paint. There's something about spending time on your own. Perhaps spending time in ways that you don't usually spend time. And I'm getting like literal examples like choose a space on the floor in your apartment, in your house, or where you live. Space where you usually don't spend time. And do things that you usually don't do over there. Like, I don't know, you can watch a film sitting in the corner of your apartment where you usually don't, just to get a different type of an experience. Especially if you're in a need of change and you can't afford going somewhere, or for some reason you just can't put yourself on an airplane and go on the other side of the planet, you can open yourself up to the inner adventures of also allowing yourself to think thoughts that you haven't been thinking, see things that you haven't been seeing, and allow the energy internally to move inside of you. Also, as the red and blue are merging here, are they merging? Here they merged. But it's kind of like I was expecting that they're gonna merge here. But I'm getting the distinguishment of kindness. You know, there's like a kindness that you can feel in your heart that is very felt. Kindness that you feel it, you know, somebody just gives you a look and you melt inside because you feel that kindness. And then there's also a kindness that you're kind of tortured into. You have to be kind and polite no matter what. And sometimes the way you are taught that kind of a kindness isn't kind in the first place. So there is like a clear distinction of the type of kindness that is being embodied or felt, received or given. And I just want to expand onto this one more. What is here? Here I'm getting some sort of a research that is outside of your domain. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing something that can be idolized? Closed. Can be some sort of isolated in and of itself, like a bubble that you can be living in. Then I'm getting like a research, a short walk, a quick trip, expedition into something that is outside of that bubble. It's like if you are operating within one belief system and you like to be in that echo chamber of just feeding yourself things that are supporting that belief system and not challenging it anyhow, to shortly come out just for a trip to see that belief system from the outside. And isn't it cool how I disappear sometimes? I stopped at explaining how if you go outside of your belief system and you see things from the outside, by default it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, but it has the ability to balance things in the greater scheme of things. And then I quickly wanted to finish this painting. I wanted it to be short, but the camera finished before I finished. So I might as well stay for a second and see what else is coming up. It's not that I have to finish, I just felt like that's how it is. Something unexpected showing up. I see kind of like a meteor. Which language I'm speaking now? Gosh. Meteor. Something like that is showing up, and it's very quick before it transforms into something else. Something unexpected and very quick. It kind of leaves a mark, but it turns out to be something else. Some sort of disillusionment is happening due to some sort of an influence that is happening. Okay. I see red entering blue in a very sneaky, intended, direct, like sleek way, as if a snake entered into a field. And when it enters, you don't see it from everywhere, you only see it from that particular way where you see the snake. So that's some sort of an influence that entered another field, and now this other field is kind of dissolving, it's melting, it's disillusioning, it's deconstructing itself. It's like the poison deconstructs meat when it's inflicted through the bite or however. And that I sense happening somewhere in the field of something. And it can be something, it doesn't have to be physical. Whatever comes to your mind, it's, you know what I'm talking about. I see some sort of like a physical object, which might be a human as well. This could be a mummy, is that a word? Mumia, I would say. It can be a bird, it can be a human that has a spirit and aura that is way much bigger than it. It comes to the goddess proportions of kind of those people who, they're in a room and the room is absolutely full of them. They don't intend it, they don't mean it, they don't do anything to do that, but it's as if the whole air is theirs. It's not that they possess the air, it's that they are in the air everywhere where they are. That's what's showing up here. I'm also seeing some sort of a flying animal, having eyes coming out and turning into antennas of some sort. The nose is also sticking out. Which, you know, in all honesty, like the very first thing, the surface thing that comes to me through these eyes and nose and antennas is there might be something with your abilities to see and interpret and smell things, particularly smell things, and integrate that into your experience. Pay a little bit more attention if something smells differently. If something smells good or not. And listen to your intuition through your nose. How does it smell to you? I don't have a perfume, but I smell good. Yeah, listening to your nose a little bit more. And the eyes are being red here, and then they turn into blue. It's like the blue is an extension. It's like that there is like more to your eyes than your physical eyes. And it doesn't come from the third eye, but it's blue. Feels like the disillusionment that happened here opens a little bit more space for information playing part in creating your perception and making your decisions and conclusions that are not something that you would normally consider. It's like your whole system of experiencing the world around you is being upgraded. And I feel the need to say once again, sometimes it's okay, especially if you're an artist, it's okay to do things that are just for you. Like it's okay to create a painting that you intend to show to other people. You intend to put it out there. You intend to make it for other people. But sometimes you gotta paint only for yourself, just to allow yourself to paint for yourself and to learn and expand through that experience. And to keep that experience only for yourself. And what you learn from that experience, to keep it only for yourself. You don't necessarily always have to share everything. I feel the need to say that again. I know that it's a fact that some people are really, very critical of their art, of what they create and how they create, and the fear of perception is being very much integrated in that, of like how your art is going to be perceived, what is it going to show or reveal about you, what are they going to think, what are they going to say, how is it going to, like all that stuff. I didn't expect to be here. But it's like this possibility of being misinterpreted, misjudged, misunderstood, misread is always there, and it's a part of the life. And it helps to see art as something that is something that chose you to make it, and see it like an idea, like an energy, like an entity that needs to live, and you are making it happen for it. So it's not up to you to judge it. it's up to you to show up for it and keep showing up for it. And know that it will be judged, just like you are in the world, just like we all are in the world. There is nobody in the world who is not judged or received in a way that we wouldn't like to be received. It's just something that you kind of have to accept while living on the planet. And find... It's like to find the frame of this painting, which is just like the very edge. I never really put frames on my paintings. But it's like you can watch the painting as like the paint that is applied onto the canvas, or you can watch it with the canvas. And I somehow in this painting, I see it being slightly removed from the canvas, so I can see the space in between paint and the canvas. It's as if the painting has its own way of being and the canvas is here just to provide that. And that's the relationship between art and artists as well that can be. And it's like the role of a canvas is just to hold the paint, but it is also part of the painting as well. Do you see what I'm getting at? Because I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right. To find solace in your spirit, to find solace in yourself, to be the mother or your own father, your own mother, your own father, to find acceptance for your own, whatever you're doing, and to come back into that space of love where all you see is love. If you do it, you love it. If you do it because and for and from love, and if you don't do it, you also do it for or from love. I hope that makes sense. I think this is my last attempt to try to finish it. This is similar to... Okay. Is this a plankton? It's some sort of like an ocean animal that lives. That's what I see here. And it's a little bit... The word is discombobulated, if that's a word, but that's what I'm hearing. It's like something is falling out of its form. And at first it gave me the similar impression of this energy here, and that is to go into the other field of something. Physics come to me here. As I go into the field of physics to study something, to learn something, just to have a short trip. You don't have to like go into classes or anything. It's just like open the book of physics and see where do you randomly open it and find that word that gets your first attention and see how that connects with your life that day, if it points you anywhere. I guess the underlying energy of it is curiosity and willingness to go outside of your own frame, outside of your own bubble. Yeah, I really do wish that I have a camera here so you can see what I see. And I'm gonna finish it here. I love this painting. It's quite fun. Have a good day.